morning. Welcome to Cleveland TV in Diaspora. Mike Moreno once said, just remember, you are not alone. In fact, you are in a very common place with millions of others. We need to help each other and keep striving to reach our goals. Today on the show, we will be discussing the topic, the mental struggle of accepting our new home and how we can bring back what we have learned from the diaspora back to Africa. I am Lola Oladokun, and on the show with me today is the founder of Confide in Me Massage and the Multicultural Youth Development Officer at Australia, Ms. Gamboripai Josephine Zimama. You're welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me, Lola. I appreciate it.
Before we go into the topic for today, let's go on a very quick break. We'll be right back.
In the 21st century's technological advancement, we all seek opportunities to move and network with the emerging space. Introducing Clevenard blog and event posting. Do you think you have some interesting materials, good content, articles, and stories? Then feel free to publish them on Clevenard blog and events page, just as team of our writers are doing presently. By blogging on Clevenard's blogs and events, you benefit from our reach and network. There are a constant stream of people visiting our social platform, and we have figured out just how to distribute our contents. This means you can basically skip the line and get access to a big audience from day one. Furthermore, we can help you get in touch with important people for projects with possibilities of translating your content into other languages and republishing them on Clevenard. This helps preserve and protect your content from getting lost. What's more, you also get to be part of our team with access to our network and lots of exclusives, behind the scenes information. And of course, you get full credit for everything you do, which brings you popularity and make extra income. Sign up now on clevenard.com and start blogging to your advantage. Please see the tutorial video on how to blog or post events on Clevenard blogs and events. For more information, contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com. Clevenard, your blogs, your identity.
Welcome back. Please remember to sign up on www.clevenard.com. I'm still with Miss Josephine on the show today. Welcome to the show once again. You can welcome our viewers as well and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Lola. I'm so honored to be here on this show today. But before I begin, I would like to open with an acknowledgement because I am here currently on Wajak Buja land, the Aboriginal elders. I pay my respects to them both past and present. And I'm an Azande woman from South Sudan, so I also want to acknowledge my king, Atoroba Pendi Budwe. So I just want to acknowledge all these people. So a little bit about myself. So I've already shared with you guys that I'm an Azande woman from the Azande kingdom. That is something that I hold very highly. It is my culture and it is my identity. I have lived in Australia for about 20 years. I came here with my family as a refugee and I've grown up. So I have experienced the best of both worlds. I would say I have like two identities, an Australian and a South Sudanese identity that I'm very proud of. Currently, I work in the community development space as a multicultural youth development officer. I've had several years of working within the community, developing young people, multicultural people, African people. But most especially what I'm very proud of is my business, which is called Confide in Me Massage. It's an element of creating mentally healthy environments for our community, specifically for our women, a safe space for them to relax and confide in us. So yeah, that's just a little bit about myself.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about Australia?
Australia is a very multicultural space. I have had the good and the bad. In the earlier years of migration and settlement, it was very hard to navigate. I won't lie, there were issues of racism and I guess a lot of issues around people being ignorant of what different faces looked like. But over the years, and especially moving to different states, I've had different experiences. So currently, I am in I guess, a more culturally diverse space. And I think because of that space, people are more accepting and more curious about the different diverse people that live in Australia. But I think there's a lot of development that still needs to be done because it is a community, a young nation, and a lot of newly arrived people are helping our community to be seen. So, yes, Australia is diverse, but it still has a long way to go, especially in regards to its own traditional people who are the Aboriginal people. I believe that if they can start to get the rights that they deserve, then we, the multicultural people, can also get those benefits because for us to win, we have to also acknowledge that there are people here that came before us. So, yeah.
Well, that's very important, acknowledging the citizens then.
Yes.
All right, so why do you think your family chose Australia?
Um, well, I'm not too sure if we really chose it because, as I said, we came as refugees. I do remember when I was younger, my father said that he had made an application to 3 different countries. I think we were just blessed that Australia was the country that, um, I guess, accepted our refuge. I definitely wonder what life would have been like if we went to the other countries, but I have been very grateful for the experience of coming to Australia. Yeah.
So can you tell us about how the family life in Australia looks like?
It is very interesting. I think I'm going to speak on my own experience. I come from a very family oriented background. We're very tight knit. I think, like, coming from Africa, a lot of us are so used to communal living. So now coming over to Australia, there's a lot of like people living their own silos. So when we came, we tried to recreate what we have back home to connect with our own communities. So my own household became a house where a lot of people of my background used to come and stay with us in transit and whatnot because my parents have always been community development people. And so our family household, even though we had our immediate family, became like a household for many of my tribesmen, the Zande people. But in general, Australians, or multicultural Australians, we tend to still be very family oriented, even though we're a bit more in our silos in our own communities. I think there is a little bit of that combination of communal living and also just that individualistic lifestyle as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. But I do remember that you said that your business, Confide in Me Massage, provides
Yeah.
a sense of community for multicultural Australians. Am I correct?
Yes. So Confide in Me massage is the first element of the actual business. So the whole business in itself is actually Confide. And Confide is basically a space which I'm trying to create to help people with their mental health issues. And so there are different compartments of it. At this moment, the women's only massage is to cater for the needs of women. It's targeted at multicultural women, but it's opened up to everybody. So we give them massages, and we also reaffirm to them. So there's that grounding techniques that we do, and we also do a little bit of conversation and just healing. We're hoping that that whole aspect of Confide will take form in a couple of years, so that we can have things like group sessions of just mental health and other aspects that enable people to keep mentally healthy.
Okay, good mental health is very, very important for all of
Yes.
us, and we find many people in the world are struggling with their
Yeah,
mental health at the moment.
especially
So finding a safe, yeah, so finding a safe space is actually very, very, very important.
yes,
Yeah.
no, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the mental struggle of accepting our new home.
Yeah, like that's something that I'm very passionate about. I've always been a speaker and I've shared my own journey because I think a lot of people have this perception that, especially coming in as a refugee, there's this perception that you should just be grateful, but we never hear about the vast stories, just of migrants, let alone the refugees. There are different statuses, like, and I always share with my journey about being a refugee. We're so used to that stereotypical identity of a refugee that we don't understand. Like, right now in Australia, we have doctors, lawyers, engineers, politicians. If war was to break out and they seek a refuge in a different country, that wouldn't strip away from their lived experience. And so for me, what I try to do is to share my story because my story is slightly different, you know? And so when we talk about accepting this new home, it was very difficult. And I know I've shared with a lot of people and I've heard a lot of stories where people felt like they had been, I don't want to say undermined, but, you know, people just assume because you came as a migrant, as a refugee, as a, you know, as a student, that Australia created platforms for you to better yourself. Yes, but they forget that a person was a person before they landed here. And so there is that challenge of coming and trying to understand who you are and creating the life that you want without losing your identity. So a lot of people have struggled. There are two streams that I can speak on. The first, because this is my own lived experience, is that in my generation, a lot of us came, you know, maybe seven, eight, even born here, and a lot of them integrated very well, and they kind of detached from their African identity and, you know, integrated into the community. And then there are others who came into the system and just assimilated, but struggle with the double identity. And so home doesn't really make sense to them. Is it home here? Is it home back in the African continent? There's that constant debate between identity. And I think that's where I'm really passionate about because as somebody who's migrated, I think we don't talk enough about the mental struggles of migration. And it doesn't matter if you've come as an international student, a skilled migrant, or refugee. Migration in itself is a struggle mentally to find a space where you can call home. What does that look like? And the most difficult thing is when people tell you, where are you from and where's your home? Constantly reminded that this isn't your home, regardless of how young you were when you came here, or even if you were born here. Constantly asked, where are you from? So that battle in yourself of trying to figure out where is home. Yeah.
Yeah, where is home? Because most times people say that home is where the heart is,
Yeah.
right? But then how do we find the balance between keeping our culture and then immersing in the new culture? How do we find that balance?
Um, I think it's really hard. Honestly, it is an individualistic approach. Not everything works for everyone, but I think one of the things that have worked for our community is having representation, is having that umbrella. So we are blessed to have organizations like Organization of African Communities that sits as an umbrella to showcase the diversity of African people here in Western Australia. And I know it's quite similar in other states. So I think that's one of the things that helps with actually having your identity, the dual identity. Also, having your own micro communities. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, especially politically, but I think, you know, if you're somebody like me who's very proud of your tribe, and like I haven't been back home for 10 years, but I'm so connected globally. I know the things that are happening back in my kingdom. I'm proud of wearing my traditional attire and celebrating my holidays. It's something that helps me also feel connected. So it's not just I'm watching on the screen and seeing what people are doing, but I feel like I'm in real time. And I think that's really important mentally because a lot of people who've left home have left with that mindset of what they saw of their country. So I know right now there are elders in my community that still practice culture as if it was in like the 80s. But one thing we know about globalization is that everybody is now, evolving, and so is culture. And if you constantly updated with what's happening in your own, country back home, you're also able to adapt, rather than get stuck in a time frame.
Sure, but I think you find that many people, for some people who had to run away from their home, deal with a
Yes.
certain level of hurt, and
Yes.
they want to try as much as possible to disconnect from where
Yeah.
they're coming from. What would you say
Yeah.
to such people?
That's a very tricky one, because the thing is, when people do run away and they seek refuge, like for example, with a lot of refugees, it is okay for them to decide that that's enough. We have to also acknowledge trauma, and we also have to acknowledge the hurt that they've experienced. So when a person comes to a new country and they want to start their new life, new identity, it may look foreign to some of us, but that's their choice, because that's how they've coped. Like, this may be the only reason that they're still alive, is because they've been given an opportunity to have a life that they desire. And we have to also acknowledge the fact that maybe the lifestyle that they had back home would not have progressed them in the way that they are now. So these are the things that I was saying in regards to individualistic approaches. Everybody's different, but we're learning that our African identity comes in different shapes and forms. So, yeah, definitely to the people that have decided that this is home, and that's what it is.
That's a very good answer. So, what would you describe mental health as? What is mental health?
So, mental health is basically your overall health. The same way you have your physical health, mental health is just that. So I know there's a negative connotation to the word mental health, but it's just simply the health of your mind. And that can be, healthy mental health. And then you can also experience illness. And I think that's why we need to stop thinking that when someone says mental health, that means something negative. So, um, just to keep it short, mental health is just basically the general term for the health of your mind. And there are different things that can occur in your life that can make you ill, or you can have, positive health. So it just depends on what's going on in life.
Okay, so how can having a community promote a healthy mental health? Like
Um,
having a sense of community.
in regards to mental health, so when we're talking about promoting positive mental health, we have to look at what is positive mental health. So, with positive mental health, there's things of, feeling a sense of belonging, just that active and engaging energy to want to, thrive and be the best person. So, opportunities like obviously creating spaces where people can share their stories that also stimulate them, doing creative things to stimulate the mind. So, from our traditional dances, or if it's not even traditional, just general mental health, exercising is also really good. It stimulates, gives you the right um, energy for it. And also, just it just depends what form of mental health you're wanting. So if you're somebody who is trying to alleviate anxiety and stresses, then you may be looking to improve your mental health by doing a lot of groundwork, a lot of grounding, calming exercises, things that alleviate anxieties and stresses. But if you're somebody who has like overall general good health and you just want to improve it, so social connectivity, constantly, eating, exercising, all these things play a major role in just making sure that you're mentally healthy. So, yeah,
Okay, cool. We'll continue the conversation, but we're gonna go on a very quick break. We'll be right back.
no worries. Thank you.
Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Cleve Nard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Cleve Nard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Cleve Nard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Cleve Nard in Diaspora Television. TV2, Cleve Nard Youth Television. TV3, Cleve Nard Movies Television. TV4, Cleve Nard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Cleve Nard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Cleve Nard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com.
Welcome back. Please remember to sign up for CleverNet TV on www.clevernet.com. We're still talking mental health with Ms. Josephine. So, Ms. Josephine, what would you say are some of the factors that lead to mental health?
So some of the factors that lead to mental health issues could stem from a lot of different things. From the more severe things, obviously trauma can lead to a lot of post-traumatic issues. You also have things that can actually contribute to developing it if you don't have any history of it, so drugs and alcohol. Other things change to lifestyle, so having constant stresses and experiencing quite dramatic changes in life. So what is quite common in young people is navigating life after high school. We've noticed that a lot of people don't know what to do, whether go into further studies, work, and just the realities of adulting gets to them, and it really does impact their mental health. And also, we don't talk enough about it, but it can be hereditary, so you can actually get it from your family. You may be quite symptomatic to it because of things that you've experienced. So looking back at refugees and asylum seekers, intergenerational trauma is a real thing. It does impact your mental health because these are the things that are passed down unintentionally. So these are just a few things that I can name.
Okay, so would you say, are there certain ways we can avoid or prevent mental health issues?
There are things that we can do to try to keep mentally healthy, because to say to avoid having mental health issues is very hard. I believe that everybody goes through a moment in their life where they experience mental health, whether it be the slightest thing from just anxiety and stress. Some people are prone to actually having very severe mental health illnesses, like personality disorders and stuff. So in regards to the more severe things, avoiding drugs that may alter your brain stimulation and stuff. Yes, I think that's probably the only thing that we can really avoid, but we can't avoid what life does. You can try to keep safe, try to be in the right environment, but when life happens, it happens. So it's more about managing it rather than trying to live a whole life of not having any mental health issues. But in regards to things like stresses and anxieties, it depends on the individual. So if the individual is somebody who gets really frazzled over, things happening abruptly, it could be good to organize their environment, have to-do lists, due dates, crossing off things. That helps to ground a lot of people, because if they can physically see that something's organized, then they're less likely to be struck up and put into an anxious state. But like I said, there are things that we can't avoid. Like if you're somebody in high school and you're waiting to get into a university, and sometimes it really does impact people. Some people, it's like, oh, it's a little bit of anxiety, but some people, that anxiety is crippling because their family is relying on them. They wanting to travel abroad to get a better life. So it is a do or die situation. So you'll see they'll lose appetite, they'll lose sleep, they'll disengage, and people won't understand what's going on. So these are some of the things that I would suggest. Otherwise, there are other factors to prevent things progressing into like very serious illnesses, but it just depends on what health issue it is.
Okay, so you would say it's important for people to know themselves and know how to manage
Yeah.
the circumstances, basically.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on now to youth development. What would you Why would you say it's important to invest in youth development?
You can see I'm smiling because this is my heart. I love youth development. It doesn't even feel like a job because, one, I started when I was a young person, and then, well, I'm still young, but I think it's just, I know it's quirky, but, really investing in our youth because they are the future. It's the truth. I'm always getting taught things that I didn't know. I mean, my young people have me on TikTok now. So it's very interesting because they see the world different. So I definitely believe this whole mentality of, yes, we should respect our elders because they have lived and they have wisdom, but we are always changing, we are always progressing. And I remember there was a time when I read this quote, and forgive me if I've got it wrong, but it was a Jewish quote, or a Jewish doctor that basically said, like, we have to learn from our children because they are living in an era that we don't live in. I think something like that. And the reason being is that as the people that come before young people, I think our job is to pave way for a safe environment. I think that's all that we can do is to create safe spaces, safe environments for their physical, mental, emotional well-being and cultural. Like if we're talking our young people, I think that is the job of, the seniors to be custodians of culture and safekeeping. But in regards to the progression of the life that we're living, we look to our young people because they see things differently. And, as we see generation to generation, things are always changing. Like now we are in a very global society. Everything you can access it online. The fact that we're just even having this conversation online, this is stuff that our young people pick up on much quicker than we do. Like this is my first time using Skype, but the young people that I work with, they know all this technical advancements. They're the ones who usually help me with stuff. And I think that's the biggest thing, to first give them the time to actually express themselves. Obviously teach them, mentor them, but don't mold them to be the person you want them to be. Give them room to choose who they are meant to be on this earth. Yeah.
Yeah, so we often it says that change is the only constant thing in
Yeah.
life. So we
Yeah.
should never stop learning. We should keep learning and keep
Like,
advancing. Would you agree?
like 100%. Because the thing is, we don't have a choice. Change is always coming. We have to adapt to it. Of course, you can, try to refrain from it, but eventually, with time, things just sweep you off. So it's better to navigate it. There are always ways to deal with it, and I think sometimes it is challenging, because I feel like the younger generation is so informed that it does scare the older generation. Because before, and I'm speaking from the viewpoint of African culture, yes. I think a lot of us have this idea of, respecting your elders, which I also believe in. But I think it's that fear factor, especially in diaspora, where young people are being advanced so quickly. There are more opportunities for young people. And these are the people that are supposed to carry our legacy on. If we don't let them sit with us and actually have a voice as to what happens for them and their community, we lose them to whatever the world gives them. And I think that's the scary thing, because I am a cultured woman. I do believe that it's very important to have discussions where young people can sit and have influence. Like, if I wasn't included in these discussions, I probably wouldn't have been as proud of my culture as I am now. I've been 20 years abroad, but I feel very much African and very much eager and happy to give back to my continent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. When we stop learning, we stop
Yeah,
growing. Okay,
exactly.
so now moving on, why would you say it's important for us to bring back what we've learned in the diaspora back to Africa?
Um, I think the reason why I'm so passionate about bringing back what we have learned, diasporians, back to Africa, is because I don't want to speak for all, but I think a lot of us did come here for a better opportunity, and a lot of us wanted to come and to progress ourselves so that we could give back home, and not just financially, but to really build our communities. There are so many countries in Africa that I am so proud of, that one day I hope and pray that I'll be able to go and see. And I think, as a professional, as an African professional, yes, like, my lifestyle is okay here, but sometimes you just blend in. Do you know what I mean? You just blend in into society, and you're just, paying your taxes, living your best life and whatnot. But sometimes I wonder, what impact and what change could I make for those that really need me? And the thing is, coming back to that whole communal living, we're so used to being a community and progressing and bringing back. But when you live in spaces like we live in, sometimes you get so caught up in your individualistic lifestyles and your silos that you forget there's something that you need to do. So the reason why I think it's really important to give back is because, like, what do you have to lose? You want to go back to your country and you want to be proud, isn't it? But who's going to, like,
Mhm.
help? And I think that's the thing. When I have conversations with my cousins back home, at first I used to be very apprehensive and reluctant, because I was like, I don't want to offend, I don't want to what. And then my cousin brother told me, Jose, you're not coming to a different country, you're coming back home. And when you come back home, you want your house to look a certain way, isn't it? You want to feel comfortable in your own space. Who do you expect to do it? If people have not been exposed to the life that you've been exposed to, how can we give you these things when you come back home? It's for you to now bring back the stuff you have. And mind you, this is not the financial stuff, it's the mindset, it's the experience, it's the exposure. Do you know? And like I said before, that we are now in a global society. Like, people are traveling, the internet has connected us. People in the village has see things that we see now. Do you know what I mean? There's no barriers. So when they see all these lovely things and they're wondering, like, okay, like, and I'm, again, not money things, I'm talking about systems and, like, opportunities, then I wonder to myself, like, what can I do? Because I think a lot of people in diaspora think that, I can't go back home until I've worked for 20, 30 years and I have all these millions and I can build big establishments. There's little things like connecting with the right people. There are organizations back home that are already setting themselves up. We don't always have to be the ones to go back home, because reality is a lot of people don't go back home, but how can we support them? How can we make Africa and not Africa, but our own countries international? You see, the reason why a lot of, like, other multicultural societies are progressing and growing is because they have this mindset of giving back and developing. When we look at the Indian communities in every country that they migrate into, they always building back home. When we look at the Asian countries, they're always building. So they have that establishment wherever they are, but they're also always giving back. So it's that constant. So now we are exposed to all these different cultures, and we know about Indian culture, Asian cultures, but not very many African cultures. the most you hear is just about our food. You know, every time I laugh about it. You know, the only thing they'll talk about is jollof rice, or that's it. But it's like we have other things we do. Do you know, we have other things we do, from our music, from our clothes. There's so many things we do. And the funny thing is, a lot of other cultures love the African continent because we have this vibrancy in us, from our music to our arts and crafts, just our spirit as a people. And we're already showing that here in diaspora. How can we connect here to back home? So one thing that happens that's really great in Australia, Western Australia, is we have Africa. Is it Africa Down Under? So it's a conference that has just happened this month. Basically, big mining companies collaborate with African mining companies. And I'm not too involved in that, but I do know that I guess that's kind of some of the stuff that they're looking to progress Africa and its resources. Whether it's safe and whether it benefits the African people, I can't speak on it. But I wonder if we started to do that with the fashion industries and the health industries and, you know, the technological industries, if we were able to expose, because we have so much talent back home and we have so many opportunities, networking opportunities. So how can we build that bridge? Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree that there needs to be more of a cultural exchange
Yeah.
among Africans and the global community. I'm sure
Yeah.
we're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well. Like, I think even now when I speak to other Africans, even ourselves, we're more open now to visiting other countries when we're going back home. Like before, you know, like me, I'll be thinking, oh, I'm going to South Sudan, I'm going to da da da. But now when I'm coming back home, I'm thinking, oh, I might pass by West Africa, check it out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we have to, like, if we're going to sell it to other people, we need to also put our own initiative into it. Because, you know, this thing of saying Africa, Africa, we are a continent and there's so many countries, you know, you have to learn.
Yeah.
And I have challenged a lot of people in the statement because we are different. Like, just from the East and the West, we are different. Yes, we have the same heart, but there's so many differences that we also need to learn of ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree in that we need to learn about ourselves, and I think the government perhaps should make it more accessible for us to visit each other.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that because when I just see, especially post the pandemic, the way all the musicians have been, you know, crossing borders and going anyhow, I said, this is how it's supposed to be. Now make it easy for the rest of us. That's what we want,
I
you
know.
know, make it easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we're also
we're getting there.
technology as well because there are lots of virtual concerts happening now, especially during the
Yeah.
pandemic. And
Yeah. No,
yeah,
definitely. It is quite exciting. It's exciting to be alive in this time and space. And I can't imagine what it's gonna be like in like 30 years.
yeah, because the possibilities are very endless.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, that's the thing, like the same as the gold rush. It's the people that have that intuition that something big is about to happen that will reap the benefits. So I hope that I'm that 1% that jumps on that bandwagon of helping Africa become the great nation that it needs to be. Because I'm telling you, Africa is the new it factor. Everybody wants a piece of it. So
Absolutely.
watch this space, you know, watch this space.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back. We'll go on a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Clevenard African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Clevenard Movies is free to watch on clevenard.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today. Hello there.
Remember to sign up on www.clevenard.com. Do you have any final words?
Um, I'm so sad that it's come to an end, but yeah, like honestly, I think the final words I have to say is that because this is a TV show in regards to diasporians and everything, just for people not to forget who they are, you know, and also to understand that their migration journey does not stop at where they are. It's okay to, you know, travel. It's okay to have multiple identities. I think that's one of the things that I'm still navigating, that there will be seasons in your life that you're more, you know, African than you are whatever country you are, or vice versa, and that's okay because this is all part of the migration process. But the biggest thing is that in your blood, in your heart, in your soul, you are African first. And so whatever you decide, whether you're staying where you are or trying to give back to home, just know that it's okay to be who you are. Yeah.
Okay. It's been a very interesting conversation, but I have to ask you if you've signed up for Clevenet TV.
I haven't signed up, but I've been watching all your videos. So I'm very naughty, slap on my wrist. I will definitely sign up today. I've been watching all week, so I've definitely loved all the information. And I'm just hoping that, you know, more people will sign up and be exposed to this lovely show. And I can promise that I'll be dropping this video on my Facebook with the link. So hopefully we'll get some more numbers up.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Please tell people to sign up on Clevenet
Yes.
TV, and then tell us how we can connect with you.
Lovely. So it depends what platform you want to connect with me. If you want to connect with me as Josephine, or AKA Queen Jose, that's my street name. You can contact me on Facebook, Josephine Zimama, or Instagram, G underscore Jose underscore Zimama. And I'm also on TikTok, like I said. But if it is in regards to business and professionalism, then you can find me on LinkedIn, Josephine Zimama. And my massage business is Confide in Me Massage. You can find it on Instagram as well. Hopefully, in a couple of months, there might be a website. So, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. It's been a very interesting conversation.
Yes.
Well, I think we've come to the end of of the show today, but I think in future we'd love to have you again.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. We're discussing the mental struggle of accepting our new home and how we can bring back what we have learned from the diaspora back to Africa. I am Lola Oladuko, and I'll see you next time. Have a good morning.
See you.